Strategic marketing in lockdown 2.0. Well, we're living in unprecedented times. It's now more important than ever for people to adapt and to overcome the challenges they are facing. And this almost certainly applies to the world of business. I'm here to help you do just that by showcasing the best way for you to market your business in lockdown 2. Now, you may be wondering how I possibly know how to navigate these uncertain times when the world has never seen anything like this before. The answer is simple. I've faced my own challenges as a business owner, and I've effectively overcome them by simply adopting a foolproof strategy that is dependent on a solid foundation of knowledge and experience. Here's a quick snapshot of my story. Whilst managing a chain of optician stores for a number of years, I decided to make a change myself. I knew my future held bigger and better opportunities, and that's why I decided to start my own business. I started a website selling sunglasses, and for the first 6 years, we had the highest turnover for any sunglass retailer in the UK. We knew that from our buying power, buying more than Shade Station and Debenhams. In 2004, our site was issued a penalty from Google. We were effectively dropped for every single brand or sunglass keyword you could think of, and plunged to the depths of page 7 and 8. No one ever goes there. Sales stopped, inventory stalled, and we lost a small fortune. A lot of businesses are finding themselves in this exact situation right now, albeit through very different circumstances. The point is, I've been there. I understand the hardship that every business owner is facing right now. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. In fact, it may even be possible for you to use lockdown 2 to your advantage by simply adopting a strategic marketing campaign that plays to your strengths. Here are a few examples of companies that have done well so far by harnessing data collected from lockdown 1. There are many companies that have not just adapted, but also profited from lockdown 1, some of which are as follows. Amazon. It's no surprise that Amazon are the top of this list. Amazon anticipated that if they invested $4 billion in their process, they could keep themselves afloat during the crisis. World leaders started to order their people indoors, and this opened up a window of opportunity for the company. They soon found themselves as an emergency point of call to those who were struggling to get access to household goods. They reached a record-breaking income of revenue, but Jeff Bezos found himself having to invest over $4 billion in testing labs, thermal cameras, and virus mitigation. This put the company on the brink of their very first quarterly loss since the year 2015. A big risk, but one that paid off astronomically for them. The accelerated shift that came from the weeks to come pushed Amazon's stock to an all-time high. They stand to benefit even more from lockdown 2 due to the risks they took during the first lockdown. Moral of the story? Risks do pay off, especially during unprecedented times. Microsoft, over 75 million people use Microsoft Teams communication app in April alone. This is up 20 million when we compare it to the year before. Microsoft shifted to the cloud, and this left the company in a good position, given the fact that most people require a remote working environment. The Teams app proved to be a valuable investment, and they have become a digital backbone for a lot of other companies. As if that wasn't enough, 90 million players began using Xbox Live in April, another record for the company. Moral of the story? Technological adaptation is crucial in this thriving digital age. Apple managed to bring in well over 58.3 billion in March, even though they lost every retail store to lockdown. A total of 500 stores were to close, but online sales helped them to sustain a resilient first quarter. They released a new MacBook Air, an iMac, and an iPhone due to their expanded ecosystem of services and wearables. Millions of customers who had to work from home upgraded their tech, and investors rushed to crown Apple as being the very first $1.5 trillion company. Moral of the story? Uncertain times can open up new opportunities. You just need to look for them. Zoom. How can we not talk about Zoom? They reached 300 million active participants in April. The conferencing company have capitalized on the work from home boom. Their fake digitalized backdrops have become a cultural cornerstone for businesses during the pandemic. They opened their app to non-paying customers and even schools as well. Zoom became a household name, and they now have over 3 times as many paying customers as they did before. Revenue is up 355%. What's the moral? Sometimes give something for free. It's the best way to make money. So now you know about the companies who have profited and adapted. the most during the pandemic, it's time to look at the companies who have radically transformed their marketing process. By understanding both sides of the coin, you can then begin to understand the changes you need to make in terms of your business and your campaign. Time out to time in. Time Out magazine is ultimately a guide to the best drinks, food, and cultural events. They've changed their name to Time In, showing you the best apps you can play with your friends, the schedules of supermarkets, and even some movie recommendations too. This is a prime example of how even those who are most affected by the pandemic can temporarily pivot to still provide value and meaningful content to their audience. Zara. Inditex, Zara's parent company, have dedicated their efforts to creating masks as well as hospital gowns for the front line. They halted the production of their other clothing to try and help those who need it most. Kellogg's have benefited from food stockpiling during the pandemic, but they've also actively donated over $500,000 to various charities, one being the Food Banking Network, who focus on free school meals. Netflix and YouTube had to reduce the bandwidth content was using by slightly decreasing the quality of video and audio. They did this for around 30 days so that they could ensure that every user was able to enjoy screen time and distract themselves. They knew that the number of people who would be needing the service would increase, and this is why they put a lot of effort to make sure they could continue providing a quality service during the quarantine period. Quick and dirty marketing techniques to help your company through the crisis. If you want something that will turn things around for your company pretty quick, then here are some quick and dirty techniques that will help you do just that. By incorporating these into your full strategical campaign, you can get both short and long-term results, which will have a huge impact on the bottom line and on your company profit. Clickbait headlines. You've probably seen clickbait headlines all over your newsfeed. A clickbait title makes an urgent and big promise. This could include, for example, "You'll never believe how you could make millions by using this simple marketing technique." Why it works? Well, there's no doubt at all in anyone's mind that clickbait works well, but it's a dirty trick. These kind of titles are made to make you feel as though there is a sense of urgency or discovery. They may also make you feel like you're missing out on something if you do not click the headline right now. These headlines make a huge promise. So what's the issue? Well, the promise often goes unfulfilled. The result is that you end up quickly clicking off the page as you're upset that you've wasted those seconds of your life. Clickbait will get you more clicks, but it will lose you customer trust. But how can you do it right? So, if there is a way to make clickbait less dirty without compromising efficiency, well, sure, you just need to deliver what you promise. If you have an urgent headline, make the content sound urgent. False scarcity. False scarcity is a dirty little trick that salespeople quite often use. They make their customers feel as though they only have a few minutes or days to buy a certain product at a specific price. Salespeople will often say that they only have so many units available. Why it works? Well, it's true that giving your customer too much time to think is a bad idea. Customers can easily talk themselves out of something. But if you make the effort to create a situation where they have limited time, it forces them to make an impulsive decision. The problem is that most people won't believe you when you say you only have X items left or Y amount of hours to order, mainly because most companies put on another sale right after, meaning the value of that sale is lost. So how do you do it right? Well, if you want to do this right, don't do it often and make it authentic. Perhaps you're looking to work with 10 companies next year. Well, the truth is you only have space for 10 more companies. Maybe you're putting on an event and you'd like 12 people to attend online. Well, you've only got room for 12. As I said, make it authentic. If not, you will lose customer and trust value. How to craft the best marketing strategy in a COVID-19 world. If you want to make sure that your marketing strategy is the best that it can be, then you need to combine short-term and dirty marketing strategies with ones that promote long-term growth. I've broken this down for you into stages to help you craft your strategy bit by bit. Stage 1, focusing on your company core and your objectives. Stage 1 will consist of you planning out the ideals of your company. What do you stand for and why? Set a clear vision, a value, a mission. The first thing you need to do is set a clear vision, value, and mission. If you need some help with that, then start with your why. Set smart objectives and goals. Setting business objectives is your next step. You need to make sure that they are smart. SMART stands for goals which are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Some examples of this would be, I want to make 20 sales in 1 month with an average order of £500. I want to get 10 new clients in 12 months, spending £1,000 per month with me. I want to surpass my competition on Google in the next 6 months with a budget of £1,500 a month. I want to expand into a new territory in 18 months, generating sales of 75k per year with a budget of 25k. Setting secondary goals. So by this point, you have set a clear vision, value, and mission. You also have some smart objectives and goals that detail what you want to achieve and when. It's very important that you have some secondary goals running alongside these goals so that you can flesh out your ultimate COVID-19 marketing strategy. Secondary goals could include what you're going to do if your customers are not ready to buy yet, or furthering your brand alongside your SMART goals. Let me give you some more examples. I want to build a lead magnet and get 10 leads in a month. I want to post 5 new videos to social media in the next 3 months. I want to gain 500 more followers on LinkedIn and Facebook in the next 6 months. I want to become an influencer and gain 100 views on my podcast. Little goals like this can run parallel to your SMART goals, and they can really help you to solidify your brand without having to worry about compromising the time you have to focus on your primary objectives. Stage 2, personas and your target audience. Now you know what goals you want your business to achieve, when you want to achieve them by, and the budget you have. It's now time for you to look at your personas and the audience you plan to target. It's vital that you go as targeted as possible here. At the end of the day, 80% of your business will come from 20% of your customers if you're not careful. You need to plan out who you are going to sell to. You also need to describe your audience. If you're B2B, you need to think of company name, the size of the company, sector, location, values, departments they may have. If you're selling to consumers, you need to think of their age, their gender, their location, their education, their job title. If you're selling to B2B, you need to think of both of these things. Questions to ask about yourself, about your target audience. If you really want to pinpoint the customers that you want to sell to, then simply think of these questions. How is their job measured? What are their goals? What challenges do they face? What tools do they need to do their job? How do they learn? Do they have kids? What are their hobbies? What are their pain points? Creating your client and customer persona. When you have the answers to all of these questions, you need to create some personas. Create as many personas as you need. You might have as little as 3, or you might have as many as 10 or 15. You'll most likely need to focus on just 3 or 4 at a time. When you record a video, write an email, or even send out a tweet on Twitter, you have to make sure that you just choose one persona. The questions that I've given you should be more than enough to create a couple of different personas from your audience. You can then give each persona a name to make marketing even easier. This could be Small Business Steve, Corporate Chris, HR Harry. Stage 3, building trust and consistency. Think about it. Are you B2B? Are you B2C? Chances are you're P2P. People buy from people. At the end of the day, if you want to capitalize on this particular marketing style, then you need to make sure that you understand the concept of P2P. People buy from people they like, people buy from people they trust, and for this reason, you need to build trust and likability. How do you get people to like you? Well, here's some ideas. You could become an influencer, tell stories, showcasing case studies, writing personal thought pieces, creating associations, sharing reviews, working in collaborations, showing personality. The channels that you use for this include advertising, PR, SEO, social media marketing, personality marketing, storytelling, sponsorship, sales and promotion, influencer marketing, growth hacking, cause marketing and charity marketing, scarcity marketing, direct mail, seasonal marketing. And if that wasn't enough, you could also consider direct mail, telemarketing, inbound marketing, giving away freebies, content marketing, events, personal selling, and networking. How I turn things around for my own business. So you can see, using the template I've just talked about, you need to flesh out your marketing strategy. You can see that companies that have pulled it off already during lockdown 1, and you can also see the companies that pivoted their campaign to make themselves more competitive. You can also see the importance of having a buyer persona and what you need to do in order to transform your business into a money-making machine, even during the height of a coronavirus pandemic. One question is yet to be answered, though. How did I turn things around for my business? The truth is, it took me around 2 years and 3 different SEO companies to restore the rankings my site once had. I lost well over 40% of my turnover during this time, so I know the struggle. I met someone in New York who was earning $250 an hour, and in just 2 weeks, he solved the problem. During this time, I learned a huge amount of the SEO process, the ins and outs of penalty unwinding, the core foundation that makes SEO everything we know it to be. You could say I've been there, done that, and bought the t-shirt. That's why I speak with confidence when I say that it's possible for you to push through this pandemic and come out the other side more profitable and more able to adapt in the future. It's possible. You just need to have a good understanding of how your business operates at its core and the type of people that you're trying to market to. Be positive, be agile, be creative, reach out, and look for opportunities. Has this been helpful? If so, for more content like this, listen to my podcast, connect with me on LinkedIn, or watch my marketing and business videos on YouTube. We can help in lots of ways, and you'll be able to find more on fleek.marketing. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.